So this is my original shaft that I put in the clock. Make sure this is at 0, and it is 30.83. This is the escapement wheel, and it is 34.25. So the original shaft got smaller, and so it's that much inch shake. In other words, I'm starting from scratch. So I've already got a pivot in this side, and I took apart one of the wheels from that St. Thomas clock, and I'm starting from scratch. I've already got my hole started to put a shaft in this side, so I'm going to continue on. To me, the hardest part about drilling the pivot is starting the punch hole, and I'll show you what I did here in a second. But as you can see, that is straight as an arrow. Now I just need to use my Loctite to put it in place. First, you're going to want your center punch to be cleaned up and straight as an arrow. Have a perfect point on it. Second, the pivot that you are working on, the arbor itself has to have a taper in it. And the pivot, once you cut it off, the end of the arbor has to be completely flat. And so for folks that don't have a lathe, leave it in your drill and take that center punch and putting it in the center of the piece that you made. Leaving it in your drill and center punching it. Now, choosing a proper drill bit and your Jacob's chuck. And what did I do with it? I just got to put it back in my drawer. Oh, here it is. This one's dull, so I have to put a different drill bit in. So stand by. I'm going to show you with this drill bit, but when you put it in the Jacob's chuck, it's wobbly. So I just want you to keep that in mind. You don't want a wobbly drill bit because it's going to make your hole wobbly. But I just wanted to show you what you can do. So I've got my punch. This is the piece. It's in my drill. Using oil, because oil is your friend. You want to put a couple drops of oil on your drill bit. And doing this on camera when you're blind as a bat. You want long shavings, that way you know what you're doing, and it's good. But as you can see, it's drilling a hole. And again, oil is your friend. Use it. Checking your part often to make sure it's what you want. And I'm not gonna finish doing this. I just want to show you what you do. And now I'm going to show you this part in the microscope so you can determine for yourself whether it's in the center, whether it'll work for the purpose of what we're doing or not. And the reason why I had to start all over again, I told you that each end has to have a taper on it. If it doesn't, your wheels have to have end shake. That taper allows it to have that end shake. And so when I originally started working on this, the pivot was messed up, and when I ground it off and cut the pivot off, I took too much off, bottom line. So that's the reason why I had to start all over again, because I took too much off. I thought I could fix it by pushing the bushings out, and I could, but I wanted to replace it. Now if I can get this thing to zoom in so you can see this hole. As you can see, it's dead center. And, you know, I've got another video where I say, before you start doing this for real, to practice on wooden dowels. And that's what I did several times, is I practiced on wooden dowels. The wood, because of its design, once you start drilling a hole and you are off-centered, it's gonna break on you. And so practice, drilling holes, and the smaller the dowel, the better you will get. Practice finding the center on the dowel, and practice drilling holes in the dowel. That way, when it comes to the real thing, you see this is much smaller than this. And as I showed you, I got this hole dead center in this piece. And so my tips is practice on wooden dowels. Make sure your center punch, the point, is extremely pointed. I'm going to show you the center punch. And this is, you know, using a microscope with several magnification. But that's a very fine point on that. I'll show you a different center punch, and you're going to see that this it no longer has a point on it, and it's mushroomed out. So before I would use the center punch, I would take my Dremel to it and sharpen it up. If you know, to the naked eye, I take that back. To my naked eye, even with glasses on, I would pick this thing up, try to punch, start a punch, center punch in a piece of metal, and I would be screwing up because this tip is flattened out. So again, before you start working on stuff, make sure you're prepped, both mentally and physically. I don't know if I could do this, but I'm going to see if I could do this. Normally I would rotate the thing in my hand, and it's better if you can put it in a drill to rotate it. We'll see how that looks. And the center punch was kind of wobbly in the drill, but I think it'll be better than what it was. You see how it's got a point on it now? It's no longer mushroomed out. And so that's what you want. You want a point on your center punch. So I hope this video helps. Leave me some comments. May God bless each and every one of you.